Speaking about music producer David Foster. What's up, YouTube? And David Foster was talking about, I'm going to use two of the people he mentioned: Maurice White, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and Michael Jackson. He collaborated with both of them extensively. He said that he considered Maurice White the king of groove because he felt like he learned everything from Earth, Wind, and Fire, and that was his tuition in college into making music, you know. And he talked about so many lessons he learned, technical and so on and so forth. Along with working with Earth, Wind, and Fire, they were his foray into mainstream R&B and pop music. They really enabled him to prosper. So that was a very strong leap of faith. I was huge on Maurice White, and it's still hard to believe that it's been almost 10 years since he's gone, but the music lasts, and it's a trip to be on these YouTube streets sometimes and watching the live version of Be Ever Wonderful, and his voice live, and the way he could just put it down. He just was so soulful. He actually is underappreciated as a vocalist, but the truth. But yeah, Earth, Wind, and Fire did collaborations with David Foster. The I Am album, which was the last of that great 70s run, was a tight record, well produced sonically. And they worked on other projects together, you know. But it was like definitely something that you knew the sounds and you knew what was going on. Their main collaboration, of course, was After Love Is Gone. That was the one that really got the ball rolling. But that was one that, you know, that was a song that really took Foster over the top more so. Even though he did production on Got to Be Real for Cheryl Lynn, After Love Is Gone was the one that was huge. I was a big juggler for him. So, and working with Maurice White, who at the time was at the apex of producer powers, that was a heck of a statement. Now, we get to him and Michael Jackson. They had quite a long, distinctive relationship from Off the Wall projects, Association on Thriller, the His Story record, um, lots of strings and whole kinds of stories. Um, he once said about Michael Jackson, he said he was like Frank Sinatra and Gene Kelly rolled into one. And that's a pretty good description because if you're an all around cat, that was Michael. He was a perfectionist. He knew his notes, he knew his timing. You could tell. And they would go over a lot of different things. I remember it's The Fall in Love, which was on Off the Wall. Um, McCartney had a hand in The Girl Is Mine. He played the keyboards on that. And then, of course, on History, he had a hand on working on Earth Song with the strings, of course, and Childhood. You can always tell when David Foster is on something because he's got this over the top string section. But it worked. Michael's voice and tone, and I like to hear when producers talk about the artists they work with, who moved them, um, the totality, how it hit you. So, um, that was it's a good overview. And he talking about just the little details of the things that you want to take for granted as a fan, but you appreciate nonetheless, though. But anyway, let me know what you think about David Foster talking about Maurice White and Michael Jackson and holding them both in high regards. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another. Share it if you like, and hit the membership because when you do requests like this come true, stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out. Peace.